There are things in life that are sacred, things that must be protected, not because they are weak, but because their strength lies in silence. The world has taught many to speak, to share, to announce every thought, every plan, every feeling, as if the power of something is in its exposure. But the truth is quite the opposite. What is most powerful flourishes in secrecy. What is most valuable is preserved in silence. The things that, once spoken, lose their essence. Not all ears are meant to hear your vision. Not all hearts will celebrate your joy. Not all minds can comprehend your journey. There is a power that lies in the unseen, a force that moves beyond the grasp of those who seek to question, analyze, or disrupt. In the early stages of any vision, it is delicate, not because it is weak, but because it is forming, growing, solidifying itself in the realm where all things begin, within. To speak too soon, to reveal the details before they have taken root, is to expose something unformed to forces that do not understand its purpose. There is wisdom in silence, not as a means of secrecy, but as a means of protection, of allowing that which is yet unseen to take shape before it is placed in the hands of the world. Everything begins in the unseen, a thought, an idea, a plan. These are not yet physical, not yet tangible, but they are real. The moment a vision is conceived, it starts to seek expression. It is fragile, not because it lacks power, but because it is still being shaped by belief. If spoken too soon, it is no longer solely yours. It becomes subject to opinions, to doubts, to energies that may not align with its fulfillment. Some will question it, some will attempt to impose their own limitations upon it, some will see it only through the lens of their own failures and tell you why it cannot be done, not because it is impossible, but because they have accepted their own impossibilities as truth. A seed does not sprout in open air. It is planted in darkness, buried beneath the soil, where no eye can see its struggle, where no hand can interfere with its process. It remains unseen, but within that unseen place, transformation occurs. Roots push downward, anchoring it firmly, ensuring that when it finally breaks through the surface, it is strong enough to withstand the elements. But if that seed is exposed too soon, if it is removed from the soil before its time, it is robbed of the process that would have made it thrive. It is not the world that determines its success. It is the hidden work beneath the surface that ensures its strength. And so it is with every vision. It must be nurtured in silence, held within, protected from those who do not yet have the eyes to see what you see. There is a time for everything, a time for sowing, a time for growing, a time for revealing. But before something can be revealed, it must first be made real within you. It must be strengthened in belief, nourished by conviction, protected from the interference of those who do not yet understand. The world has a way of pulling at what is not yet complete, demanding explanations, requiring proof before it is ready to be seen. But those who know the power of silence do not fall into this trap. They understand that the strongest moves are made without announcement, that the deepest transformations happen long before they are visible. They do not seek validation because they know that what is real does not require permission to exist. There is no need to prove what is still unfolding, no need to explain what has not yet taken form. What is meant to be will be, and it will be undeniable when the time comes. But until then, guard it, protect it, let it grow in the unseen. And when it is ready, when it has taken full form, no force in the world will be able to stop it. There is a sacred power in silence, an unseen force that protects, nurtures, and strengthens what has not yet fully formed. To understand this is to understand the nature of creation itself. Everything that is now visible was once hidden. The tree was once a seed buried in darkness. The great river was once a drop of rain. The most profound transformations take place in the unseen before they ever manifest in the physical world. Yet so many expose their plans, their kindness, their struggles to the world too soon, believing that validation or recognition will strengthen them. But the truth is the opposite. That which is sacred must be guarded. That which is powerful must be protected until it is ready to stand unshaken. The beginning of any vision is delicate. It is alive, yet vulnerable. It exists first as a thought, then as a conviction, and only then does it move into form. But to reveal it too early is to subject it to forces that may seek to distort, weaken, or even destroy it. Not everyone who listens is a supporter. Not everyone who nods in agreement believes in what you are building. Some listen only to plant doubt. Some observe only to measure your progress against their own fears. And some, bound by their own limitations, will tell you why your vision cannot be done, not because it is impossible, but because they have already accepted impossibility as truth in their own lives. If you share your plans before they are rooted, you risk letting their doubts become your own. A seed does not grow in open air. It must be buried in the unseen, hidden beneath the soil where no eye can watch it struggle. The soil does not question its potential. The seed does not need an audience to validate its existence. In silence, in darkness, it begins its transformation. It sends roots deep into the earth before it dares to break the surface. If it is disturbed too soon, if the soil is pulled back to expose its progress, it weakens. But when left undisturbed, it gathers strength unseen, so that when it finally emerges, it stands firm. And so it is with your plans. They must be allowed to take root in the unseen before they are shared with the world. Move in silence, build in the unseen. Let your work be your proof, not your words. But just as silence protects your plans, it also preserves the purity of your kindness. There is an unseen power in giving, a sacredness in selflessness that is often lost when it is spoken aloud. The world has taught many to seek recognition for their goodness, to announce their generosity as a means of proving their worth. But true kindness does not seek applause. It does not require validation. It is not done for the sake of appearing virtuous, but for the sake of being aligned with the highest version of oneself. The moment kindness is announced, it becomes something else. It becomes a transaction, an attempt to gain admiration rather than a true expression of love. There is a kind of giving that transforms the giver, not just the receiver. It is the act of doing good with no expectation, no need for acknowledgement, no desire for return. This is the kind of giving that expands the soul. It is unseen yet powerful, silent yet transformative. And those who understand this never seek to display their goodness, because they know that the greatest acts of kindness are often invisible. They do not seek the approval of the world, for they know that what is given in secret multiplies in unseen ways. It is easy to be deceived by the noise of the world, to believe that what is not seen does not exist, that what is not spoken does not hold power. But the greatest forces are always unseen. The roots of a mighty tree are hidden beneath the ground. The foundation of a great structure is buried where no eye can see. The energy that moves the universe is invisible, yet it shapes everything. To understand this is to understand that your plans, your kindness, your very essence must be protected in the unseen until the time is right. The world will always seek to pull at what it does not understand. It will demand explanations, seek to measure, attempt to interfere, but those who know the power of silence do not fall into this trap. They know that the strongest moves are made without announcement, that the deepest transformations happen long before they are visible. They do not need to prove what is still unfolding. They do not need to explain what has not yet taken form. They move with certainty, knowing that what is real does not require validation. So, protect your plans until they are ready to stand on their own. Guard your kindness so that it remains pure and untainted by the need for recognition. Know that the unseen is where true power resides. Move in silence, give without expectation, and watch as the world is shaped, not by what is spoken, but by what is done. There is a great wisdom in understanding that not everything is meant to be shared. In a world that urges constant expression, many are deceived into believing that their every thought, plan, and struggle must be exposed to the eyes of others. But the unseen is where power truly resides. The most profound transformations occur in silence, in the depths, where no external force can interfere. The moment something sacred is exposed before its time, it becomes vulnerable to doubt, judgment, and misdirection. Not everyone who listens is a supporter. Not everyone who appears to celebrate with you truly desires your success. What begins in the unseen must be nurtured there. A plan, an idea, a vision. It is fragile in its infancy, not because it lacks strength, but because it is still taking form. It is like a seed hidden beneath the soil, doing the necessary work that no eye can see. It is breaking, stretching, rooting itself in the deep before it dares to push through the surface. If it is disturbed too soon, if the soil is removed in impatience to see progress, the process is weakened. The same is true for every dream, every calling. The moment you share it prematurely, you invite forces that may not align with its fulfillment. Some will speak words of discouragement, not because your vision is impossible, but because they have accepted impossibility in their own lives. Others will offer advice rooted in their own fears, attempting to reshape your path to fit within their limited understanding. And there are those who will silently hope for your failure, not because they despise you, but because your success will remind them of what they have not achieved. Move in silence. Let your results speak for you, not your words. When you declare your next step before it has been completed, you open the door for resistance. You give room for doubt, interference, and obstacles that did not exist before. But when you remain quiet, focused, unwavering in your belief, you allow the natural order to work in your favor. There is no need to explain what is still unfolding, no need to prove what has not yet taken form. What is meant to be will be, and when it is ready, no force in the world will be able to stop it. Just as silence protects your plans, it also preserves the purity of your giving. The highest form of kindness is done without expectation, without recognition, without the need to be acknowledged. Many believe they must announce their good deeds, that their acts of generosity must be seen and celebrated by others. But true giving is not about validation. The moment an act of kindness is displayed for approval, it loses its purity. It becomes a transaction, an attempt to gain admiration, rather than an extension of genuine love. There is a kind of giving that transforms the giver, not just the receiver. It is the act of doing good with no desire for applause, no need for anyone to witness. This is the giving that expands the soul. It is unseen yet powerful, silent yet deeply felt. Those who understand this never seek recognition for their generosity, because they know that the greatest acts of kindness often go unnoticed by the world, but never by the unseen forces that govern all things. When you give in silence, you align yourself with something far greater than human approval. You enter into the flow of abundance, where all that is given returns in ways beyond comprehension. To speak of your struggles to the wrong audience is to weaken yourself. It is to give away energy that is needed for endurance, for healing, for transformation. The strongest souls are not those who never face hardship, but those who learn to rise in silence, to heal in solitude, to seek wisdom in the quiet rather than validation in the noise. When the time is right, when the lessons have been learned and the growth is complete, the story will tell itself, not as a cry for sympathy, but as a testimony of strength. The world is full of noise, distractions, and endless demands for attention, but the unseen is where real power resides. The roots of a mighty tree are buried beneath the ground. The foundation of the tallest buildings is hidden beneath the earth. The forces that govern the universe are invisible, yet they move all things. To understand this is to understand that silence is not weakness, it is strategy, it is wisdom, it is power. Guard your plans until they are ready. Give without expectation. Endure your struggles with wisdom. Move in silence and watch as the world takes notice, not because you demanded attention, but because your results have made you undeniable. Here is a mystery in silence, a power that few understand, but all who master it are rewarded. The world teaches many to speak, to declare, to share every thought, every intention, every hardship. Yet, what is spoken too soon is often destroyed before it has time to take root. Not all things are meant to be shared, for the unseen holds more power than the visible. A plan, a vision, a dream. It begins as an invisible force within, waiting for the right moment to unfold into the world. But if spoken too soon, it becomes vulnerable to doubt, to opposition, to interference that was never meant to touch it. Not everyone who listens is a supporter, not everyone who smiles is a friend, and not everyone who asks is meant to know. The greatest movements begin in silence. The seed does not announce its growth, yet it pushes through the soil in time. The sun does not declare its rising, yet the world is illuminated by its light. So it is with every great work. What is hidden is often the most powerful. To speak of plans before they have been completed is to invite forces that may weaken them. The energy required to build is wasted in explanation, in justification, in seeking approval from those who do not need to understand. Move in silence. Let the work be your proof, not your words. When the time is right, what you have built will be seen, and no explanation will be necessary. Just as silence protects a vision, it preserves the purity of giving. Many believe that kindness must be seen to have value, that generosity must be displayed to be meaningful. Yet the greatest acts of love are done in secret. The moment giving is done for recognition, it loses its purity. It becomes a transaction, a way to gain admiration, rather than an act of true selflessness. The highest form of giving is not announced, not recorded, not spoken of afterward. It is done from a place of love, without expectation, without the need for others to witness. There is an unseen law that governs all things. What is given in silence returns multiplied. What is done in secret is rewarded openly. But many seek the praise of the world rather than the fulfillment that comes from true giving. They announce their generosity, hoping for applause, for validation. Yet those who understand the deeper truth know that real giving is never about being seen. It is about alignment, about becoming a vessel for something greater. The one who gives without needing acknowledgement enters into the flow of abundance, where all things given return in greater measure, not from the hands of men, but from the unseen forces that govern all. Just as kindness is sacred, so too are struggles. Many are taught to wear their pain openly, to seek sympathy, to share every hardship in search of comfort. But not every struggle is meant to be spoken of. There are wounds that must heal in silence, battles that must be fought alone. The world is not always kind to those who suffer. Some listen only to compare their own struggles, to diminish what they cannot understand. Others listen to feed their curiosity, not to help, but to entertain themselves with another's pain. And some will offer comfort, not out of love, but to feel superior, to remind themselves that they are not the ones suffering. To share struggles with the wrong audience is to invite weakness. It is to give away strength that is needed for endurance. For transformation, those who rise are those who learn to endure in silence, to seek wisdom in the quiet rather than validation in the noise. The strongest souls are not those who have never suffered, but those who have learned to suffer without seeking permission to heal. The time for sharing comes when the lesson is learned, when the victory is won, when the hardship has become wisdom. Then the story will be told not as a cry for sympathy, but as a testimony of resilience. The final truth that many fail to see is that not every blessing should be spoken of. Many receive abundance, joy, love, success, and their first instinct is to announce it. Yet, what is announced too soon can be taken away, not because blessings are not meant to be enjoyed, but because there are those who hear and do not celebrate. There are those who hear and envy, who curse what they do not have, who resent the success they have not yet achieved. Words are powerful. What is spoken is set into motion, but what is spoken to the wrong ears can be weakened, delayed, or even lost. There is a reason why the greatest joys are often quiet. Love that is real does not need to be performed. Success that is true does not need to be validated. Blessings that are meant for you do not need the approval of others. Keep your joys sacred. Celebrate in silence. Let your victories be yours before they become the world's to discuss. What is held in gratitude, in quiet reverence, is protected. What is exposed too soon is made vulnerable to forces that do not belong to it. The world is full of noise, but true power is found in the unseen. The strongest foundations are hidden beneath the surface. The roots of the tallest trees grow where no eye can see. The forces that move the universe do not shout, yet they shape all things. To understand this is to understand that silence is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is protection. It is alignment with the deeper truths of existence. Guard your plans until they are ready to be revealed. Give without needing to be seen. Endure struggles without needing to be understood. Hold your blessings close, letting them grow before they are spoken of. Move in silence, and the world will take notice, not because you demanded attention, but because your results will make you undeniable. There is a wisdom that few understand, a secret that governs the unseen forces of life. The world teaches many to speak, to share, to expose their thoughts, their plans, their struggles, their victories. Yet what is spoken too soon is often lost before it has time to take root. There is power in silence, a force that moves unseen, guiding all things toward their appointed time. Not all things are meant to be shared, for what is sacred is easily corrupted when placed in the wrong hands. A vision begins in the unseen. It is fragile in its infancy, not because it lacks power, but because it is still forming, still taking shape within. To speak of it too soon is to invite resistance, to open it to the doubt of others who do not see as you see. The soil does not reveal the seed before it has rooted. The tree does not bear fruit before its time. Yet many are quick to expose what is still growing, seeking validation before the work is complete. And in doing so, they weaken what could have been strong. To move in silence is to move with wisdom. It is to protect what is sacred until it is ready to stand on its own. What is hidden has time to grow, to develop, to strengthen itself before it is revealed. And when it is ready, it will need no explanation, no justification. It will speak for itself. Just as silence protects the vision, it preserves the purity of giving. Many believe that generosity must be seen to be real, that acts of kindness must be recognized to have value. Yet the greatest gifts are those given without expectation, without the need for acknowledgement. The moment giving is done for recognition, it ceases to be a true act of love. It becomes a performance, an attempt to be seen rather than an expression of something higher. But there is an unseen law that governs giving, a principle that moves beneath the surface of all things. What is given in secret is multiplied. What is done without the need for approval aligns itself with the greater flow of abundance. Those who understand this never seek recognition for their kindness, for they know that true giving is never about being seen. It is about being in harmony with something greater. Just as not all acts of kindness should be revealed, not all struggles should be spoken of. Many are taught to share their pain, to seek validation in their suffering, to expose every hardship in search of comfort. But there is a strength in enduring in silence. Not every wound should be displayed. Not every battle should be made public. There are those who will listen not to help, but to judge. There are those who will offer sympathy not out of love, but to feel superior in their own stability. And there are those who will take your struggles and use them as entertainment, speaking of them when you are not around, turning your hardship into their conversation. To share struggles with the wrong audience is to give away energy that is needed for endurance, for healing, for transformation. The strongest souls are not those who never face difficulty, but those who learn to rise in silence, to find strength in solitude. They do not seek validation in their suffering, for they understand that true healing happens within. The time for sharing comes when the lesson has been learned, when the transformation is complete. Then, and only then, does the story become a testimony, not a cry for sympathy. And just as struggles should be kept sacred, so too should blessings. Many receive abundance, success, joy, love, and their first instinct is to announce it. Yet what is spoken too soon can be taken away, not because it is not meant to be, but because words have power. Not all who hear will celebrate. Some will envy, some will resent, some will curse what they do not have. And in speaking of what is still growing, it becomes exposed to forces that may not align with its fulfillment. What is held in gratitude, in quiet reverence, is protected. What is spoken of too soon is made vulnerable. Love that is real does not need to be performed. Success that is true does not need to be validated. Blessings that are meant for you do not need the approval of others. Keep your joys sacred. Celebrate in silence. Let your victories be yours before they become the world's to discuss. When the time is right, what you have will be seen, and no explanation will be necessary. The world is full of noise, but true power moves in silence. The strongest foundations are hidden beneath the surface. The roots of the tallest trees grow where no eye can see. The forces that shape the universe do not shout, yet they govern all things. To understand this is to understand that silence is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is protection. It is alignment with the deeper truths of existence. Guard your plans until they are ready to be revealed. Give without seeking recognition. Endure struggles without needing validation. Hold your blessings close, letting them grow before they are spoken of. Move in silence and watch as the world takes notice, not because you demanded attention, but because your results will make you undeniable. There is a force moving beneath the surface of all things, unseen yet powerful, shaping destinies in silence. The world teaches many to speak, to share, to expose every thought, plan, struggle, and success. Yet those who understand the deeper truths of life know that what is sacred must be protected. Not all things are meant to be spoken. Not every vision should be revealed before its time. There is an appointed hour for all things, and to move before that hour is to invite resistance, to weaken what was meant to flourish in its own time. The vision is not given to the world. It is given to the one who carries it. In its earliest form, it is delicate, easily shaken by doubt, easily distorted by the opinions of those who do not see as you see. The soil does not reveal the seed before it has taken root. The tree does not bear fruit before its season. Yet many rush to share their plans, to seek approval, to gain validation before the work is complete. And in doing so, they expose it to forces that may work against its fulfillment. The wise move in silence, guarding their vision as one would guard a sacred treasure. They nurture it in the unseen, allowing it to grow strong before bringing it forth. And when it is revealed, it stands unshaken, needing no explanation, for its power is undeniable. Just as a vision must be protected, so too must acts of kindness. Many believe that generosity must be seen to have value, that giving is only real if others recognize it. Yet, true giving is never about recognition. It is about alignment with something greater. The moment an act of kindness is performed for applause, it ceases to be pure. It becomes a transaction, a means of gaining validation, rather than a true expression of love. But there is a law that governs all things. What is given in secret is multiplied. Those who understand this give without expectation, without needing to be seen, for they know that all things given return in greater measure, not from the hands of men, but from the unseen forces that govern life. The same principle applies to struggles. Many are taught to wear their pain openly, to share every hardship in search of comfort. Yet not every struggle should be spoken of. Some wounds must heal in silence. Some battles must be fought alone. The world is not always kind to those who suffer. There are those who listen only to compare, to diminish what they cannot understand. Others listen not to help, but to entertain themselves with another's pain. And some are for comfort, not out of love, but to feel superior in their own stability. To share struggles with the wrong audience is to give away strength that is needed for endurance. The strongest souls are not those who never suffer, but those who learn to endure without seeking permission to heal. They do not look for validation in their pain, for they know that true healing happens within, and when the time for sharing comes, they do not speak as victims, but as those who have overcome. Their story becomes a testimony, a declaration of resilience, no longer a cry for sympathy. Just as struggles must be kept sacred, so too must blessings. Many receive abundance, joy, love, success, and their first instinct is to announce it. Yet what is spoken too soon can be taken away, not because it is not meant to be, but because words carry power. Not all who hear will celebrate. Some will envy, some will resent, some will curse what they do not have. And in speaking of what is still growing, it becomes exposed to energies that do not align with its fulfillment. What is held in gratitude, in quiet reverence, is protected. What is spoken of too soon is made vulnerable. Love that is real does not need to be performed. Success that is true does not need validation. Blessings that are meant for you do not need the approval of others. Keep your joys sacred. Celebrate in silence. Let your victories be yours before they become the world's to discuss. When the time is right, what you have will be seen, and no explanation will be necessary. The greatest wisdom is knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. Not all things are meant for all ears. Some truths lose their power when spoken to those who cannot understand them. Some dreams are weakened when exposed to doubt before they have taken root. Some plans are delayed when shared with those who cannot see their worth. There is a reason the strongest foundations are hidden beneath the surface. The roots of the tallest trees grow where no eye can see. The forces that shape the universe do not announce their movements, yet they govern all things. To understand this is to understand that silence is not weakness. It is wisdom, it is protection, it is alignment with the deeper laws of life. Guard your plans until they are ready to be revealed. Give without seeking recognition. Endure struggles without needing validation. Hold your blessings close, letting them grow before they are spoken of. Move in silence, and the world will take notice, not because you demanded attention, but because your results will make you undeniable. There is a time to speak and a time to remain silent, a time to reveal and a time to guard. Wisdom is knowing the difference. Not everything is meant to be shared, for what is sacred loses its power when placed in the wrong hands. Plans grow stronger when nurtured in silence. Giving is most powerful when done without seeking recognition. Struggles are endured best when faced without needing external validation. Blessings remain secure when protected from unnecessary exposure. Life moves according to divine timing, unfolding in ways unseen, beyond human interference. Those who understand this walk with confidence, knowing that what is meant for them will manifest without the need for approval. They move quietly, allowing their actions to speak, their victories to announce themselves, and their transformation to become evident without explanation. True power is not in being seen. It is in knowing that what is yours can never be taken, and what is destined will always find its way to you. Move in faith, protect what matters, and let the unseen forces of life work on your behalf.